Greetings, my friends, and welcome back to Wellesley's Words of Wisdom. Today, I have a special message I want to share. It is a message in particular for men and boys, and it is a message of hope and an invitation to go along with it. There's a famous individual online who likes to claim that the world we live in is the Matrix and that he is Morpheus, the individual who shows people the truth. I understand the analogy, but I think one of the inspirations for the Matrix would be a little more apt, and it's also classier. What can I say? And that is the allegory of the cave from Plato's Republic. Now, those who've read it know that what I'm going to share is a very simplified framework of the story. I'm not using all the details, and I'm not explaining it the same way it's explained in the Republic, but I want to use it to illustrate my point. I think it does so well. Imagine a dark cave that leads down to a massive opening, and in that opening sits everyone in the world. And everyone is chained together by long chains and shackles, and we're all facing a big stone wall. And on that wall are shadows, people, animals, shapes dancing around on the wall, and everyone's just sitting there watching it. Now, every once in a while, someone will get curious and turn around to see where those shadows are coming from. And what they see is a big spotlight and a bunch of people in front of that spotlight acting as those shadows. They are determining what we can and cannot see and hear and know. By doing this, they're able to take advantage of us, to exploit us, to control us, and even in some cases convince us that they're setting us free by keeping us in those chains. Now, every once in a while, somebody who turns around starts asking questions and they get berated or attacked for raising issues with something that everybody else seems perfectly fine with. Sit down and enjoy the shadows. Occasionally, someone will try to remove the chains and find out that they fall off very easily. And they will start to walk around, but soon find that there's no way out of the cave that they can see and end up returning and putting back on their chains. Occasionally, one of us will remove the chains and just wander into the dark. That was me. My whole life, I've kind of been wandering around in the dark. Now, a lot of people end up getting lost and maybe give up and wander back when they realize how dark the cave is and how dangerous it is and how many opportunities there are to fall and get injured and that there's nobody there to come and rescue you. I don't know how or why I made it through, but I made it out of the cave. And what I found there is extraordinary. Two things in particular, I would say. The first is I came to understand my identity as a man. I learned what it meant to be a man, how to act like a man, and to establish our own personal identity. And with that comes the second thing I found, and the thing which I think most people will be interested in, and that is peace. It wasn't easy. It's taken me decades, and I have injured myself and suffered and experienced trauma after trauma. But I am telling you, the peace that I found once I made it through made all of the suffering worthwhile. And I would suffer it again if it meant I could have this peace. Think about that. What would that be worth to you? You lie down at night and you close your eyes and you fall asleep quickly and easily because your mind and heart are at peace. Imagine looking around yourself and seeing the situations in the world and not becoming panicked and filled with anxiety. Being at peace and understanding what's happening, why, and how you can play a role in mitigating it and making things better for the world around you. Imagine the default setting of your life being at peace. What would that be worth to you? I imagine just about anything. I will tell you, it's going to cost you. It's a long, difficult journey. It's in the dark. We are all going to get injured on the way out. You're going to stumble and you're going to fall and you're going to fail. But the key to this journey is, first, you need the humility to recognize none of us really know what we're doing. I just got lucky and found my way through the cave. So I'm able to find my way back in and take you back with me. And you also need the determination to do whatever it takes to get out. I don't know any other way. If someone else has another way that they've been able to determine in order to find true peace with your masculine identity, then by all means share it, please, because this is the only way I know. And it's the only way I know because it's the way I went. You're going to have to accept doing things that may make you uncomfortable because you lack the emotional tools to properly process your feelings. You are going to learn the importance of emotional intelligence. One of my favorite symbols is the yin yang. And within the yin yang, each side has a little circle of the other side's color. That actually represents an essence of the other gender, that each man has an essence of femininity within himself, and that he can only become truly whole by recognizing it and embracing it, making it a part of him. I've done that, and it brings you a sense of stability and completeness. It helps eliminate the dissonance you might feel from doing things that you think are masculine and avoiding things that you think are feminine, when in fact they're neither masculine nor feminine. They've just been labeled that way. Now, I'm not going to tell you there's no such thing as masculine and feminine. That's absolutely nonsense. And I oppose anybody who tries to make everything neutral and gray. I think there's beauty in masculinity and beauty in femininity. I believe that women are our partners. We are equal in many, many ways. And there are some ways in which they are special, and we ought to recognize and appreciate that. And there are ways in which men are special that we ought to recognize and appreciate. That we conquered the planet, and somehow we let the people casting the shadows on the wall turn us all against each other. They convinced us that it's one another that's causing our suffering and sadness. It's time for us to expose that lie. It's time for us to accept that we work well together, that men and women hating and tearing each other apart has only made things worse for us, more unhappy. But what I'm going to teach you are the emotional tools that you may be lacking, that you probably should have learned in childhood, that your parents may have failed to teach you. All of us experience it. And you didn't have anyone around to identify it to help you learn those tools. Well, now you do. I did have a lot of help from my mom. The woman is a saint. I love her with all my heart. She taught me a great deal of emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is one of the most important things you can develop as a human. But there are studies that show that emotionally intelligent men are the key to long term, lasting, happy marriages and relationships. You can't change anyone but yourselves. Stop worrying about anybody else and start looking at you. I promise you, the women who you say are all awful and all lie and cheat and all that, it's not because they're women, it's because they're narcissists. And I will teach you all about narcissism and how it affects men and women and how it makes us behave in selfish, self-destructive ways. It is not women, it is narcissists. You need to let go of the notion that women are the reason you're suffering and the source of all your problems. I found a way to release all the negative emotions I had, and it helped me feel peace. And it's because of the identity I discovered, because I know who I am, what I'm capable of. I have confidence. And that's another thing I'm going to teach you. Once you understand what it means to be a man, you will find confidence in your masculinity. And you will need to learn the difference between confidence and arrogance. And I promise you they are different, and it is a very important distinction to make. I offer you the ability to gain confidence in who you are as an individual, not external affirmation through money and women, who you are inside. Once you know who that is, you're able to find that peace and stability. You don't need anything else. Some of you might try this way of doing things and not like it and give up and walk away and go back to your old way of doing things. And if that's the case, I understand. It's not for everyone. Although I think it could benefit everyone, I know that not everyone is in a place where they are ready to do things this way. Hopefully, at some point you will be. But even if you never are, I genuinely hope that you find happiness in life. I want people to be happy. I don't want you to suffer because you do things a different way. I just want people to find happiness and peace. And that is my message and my invitation, is that I found that happiness and peace, and I know the way out of the cave. And if you're willing to put your trust in me, I think I can get a whole bunch of you out of the cave with me. Now, it's going to be difficult, and there's going to be failure. Failure is not a bug, it's a feature. They're going to be failures, and that's important because failure is part of the learning process. You have to accept that who you are as a man is not who you are right now, it's who you're in the process of becoming. I'm telling you that doing this has helped me find everything I was looking for. Something I wish that we still had as a society, and in some places in the world they do, I understand. We lost the old wise man, the elder, the oracle, experienced people who had gone through difficult things in life and had figured things out for themselves and were then there to offer wisdom and advice to people who needed it. In particular, other men. It was other men who taught men how to become men, and we lost that. I'm not that old, and I know there are people who are a lot wiser than I am, but I'm here, and I somehow found my way out of the cave. I'm going to do everything in my power to help you find the same peace and hope that I have found. Now, if any women have made it this far, please understand the men in our society were neglected and didn't have someone there to teach them how to do this stuff. So please be patient with us. We're working on it. I'm going to tell you this. I cannot promise you women, but I can promise you that you will become the kind of man that a woman, a healthy woman, wants to have a long term relationship with. Do you want happiness in life, or do you just want cheap thrills? I'm offering you the tools and skills and knowledge required to be happy and have peace for the rest of your life. My message here, like I said, is there's hope. This world desperately needs good men right now. It was good men in the past who held back the darkness, who fought monsters in order to feed our tribes and to help mankind succeed. We were the ones who held back danger. Man was meant to bring safety to this world, and we've lost that. We're so concerned with our own safety, we've forgotten that we have the ability, and I would even say the responsibility, to make the world safer around us. It's scary, and it's a kind of a leap of faith you have to take. But I'm telling you, once you take it, it works. Men and boys, I'm inviting you, stop listening to people like Andrew Tate. He is not bringing out the best in you. Stop listening to people who are telling you to work in the matrix, to stay in the cave in your shackles, and that they'll set you free somehow without you actually making any kind of effort to free yourself. It does not work that way. I'm telling you, once you free yourself, that now you got someone with you who knows his way out of the cave. I think it's time that we take off our chains, we man up, and we get out of this cave. What do you say? Let's do this.